What's going on, Fast Turn Radio watchers, listeners, replay catchers? Gompers, what's up, man? He's actually in the audience with us tonight, so I appreciate him being here. And the 24 other people who have joined us live, that is awesome. Very much appreciated. You guys have no idea how much it means to me to have you actually live. I'm just going to move my camera a little bit because it looks a little funny. All right, there we go. I really do appreciate you guys being here live. It makes the show easier to host. Keeps the conversation interesting, and it gives a lot of back and forth. And so thank you. Sincerely, I appreciate you guys taking time out of your night here on a Wednesday. I know you got better things to do, but you're here in the audience. And so that means a lot. Just want to say thanks. Hopefully I have an interesting show for you tonight. A lot of things. We did not have a show last week because I was driving back from Atlanta, where I saw Anna Hill and several others, and I'll talk about that at the Resonate conference. So after driving, 4.5 hours home and not seeing the family for a while, I did not feel like having a show that night. Just selfish reasons, but I didn't want to have a show. So that means I got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. Anna's going to be a big part of the conversation, and she's welcome to join on screen. But she is not officially a guest tonight, but she has helped me tremendously, and I'll talk about that. Yeah, that's why we do what we do. Exactly, Marianne. The flexibility and the freedom to do what we want. It's nice to make the money, and whether you make maybe less than you did at a day job when you were there full time, or you make more than you used to, or whatever, man, either way, as soon as you taste that freedom, you're like, can't go back. Or at least that's how I was. And I've talked to several others who, Jim Cockrum coined or was the first one that I heard use the phrase. I don't know if he coined it or not, but he said he is, he's unemployable. He said it so much better. There's another part to that line. But anyway, that he can't be employed, can't be hired. Nobody can hire me. Doesn't matter what you're paying, doesn't matter what the job is. The freedom is too good. So anyhow, I will. So I'll talk a little bit about Resonate tonight. I'm going to talk about numbers, and I have some of them. I probably should have had another screen pulled up, and I can do that real quick. I have started crunching numbers and crunching them in a big way because I needed it. I was way behind on my bookkeeping, and I've talked about that. I talked to my CPA, and his bookkeeper was supposed to take over for me, and let's see. Let me make sure I didn't lose my screen here when I started messing around with all this stuff. There we go. All right. Screen disappeared on me. Certifiably unemployable. There you go. Hey, Karen. Karen Holmes just joined us. I was bringing up a second screen and lost myself. I was afraid I disconnected the meeting somehow. I'm telling you, it looks almost the same, but just different enough that it's thrown me off a little bit. So I do apologize. Anyhow, so I've been crunching numbers because, like I said, I was going to hire the bookkeeper from my CPA's firm to do my books. Well, after back and forth, and the final email she sent me said, what I need you to do is go through 8 months. I didn't realize I was 8 months behind, 8 months of statements, and give me just write out what category the expense goes under, or what the transaction was. And I was like, man, I am not going to sit down and go through page after page after page of statements to give to you so that you can input them into a computer. I might as well just do it myself. I mean, so I got at Anna's direction, and I looked at some different options, but I liked it. I decided to go with QuickBooks Online, which I am very happy about. I've been using it for about a week now, and it has worked very well. It's a little different than the desktop version, but it's similar enough that I am able to do everything that I could do prior to using the online version when I had just the regular desktop version. So desktop has I think it's all the same features, it just laid it out differently. So I kind of like the condensed version. I definitely like being able to pull it up on my iPad or my phone or anywhere else that I'm at, just hop online and bam, I got access to my QuickBooks, which of course I didn't with the desktop version because it was all on the computer. So I only had one computer and it held all the information. So very excited to have started using QuickBooks. Anna helped me download the CSV files from my bank, and she transferred those into a QuickBooks format so that they could be loaded into QuickBooks. And then all I had to do was go in and categorize things, and it made it very simple. Now, in speaking with her extensively over the last few days, what I did for 2015 is not what I'm doing for 2016. And this is part of what I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight. And Karen says, good for you, Dwayne. Well done. Thank you, Karen. One thing I want to talk about, and I'm not going to get into which one's right for you, but, and Anna, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I have now moved into accrual accounting versus the cash basis, right? So last year when I bought something, I just wrote it off. As soon as I bought it, you know, I could buy this Sharpie and say, I'm going to sell this Sharpie, and instantly I wrote it off as cost of goods. Well, there was no place for assets in that case. All right. And we have an inventory based business, but I always said, man, it's just too complicated to get into the accrual accounting and to try to keep up with what you bought and when it sold and all that kind of stuff. And so Anna helped me kind of simplify it, but I do like that method better. So now when I buy this pen, it's an asset. Then when I sell the pen, it becomes cash, you know, on the books, you know, cost of goods sold. Yeah, it sold, becomes cash in the bank. I like that. Little couple extra steps, but makes things much easier from a broad point of view to see what's going on and to have a better handle on the business itself, because I am now doing my accounting monthly versus basically waiting an entire year to get caught up on everything and go, oh, I hope I made some money. You know, I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, Nana said it's about matching revenue with expenses. You don't take the expense until the item sells. It's a better picture of how you are really doing. And yes, yay, monthly. She likes monthly. You know, she says do it at least quarter, or you have to do it yearly for your taxes. You have to do your accounting yearly for the taxes. She suggests you at least do quarterly and really wants you to do it monthly. So that's what I'm doing. I am doing the monthly accounting. She has a fantastic course set up, just so you guys know, if anybody is interested in learning from Anna, I can vouch for it. I'm in it. I'm going through the QuickBooks material right now, and it's awesome. Also, Tom Ogden gave me a gift of a QuickBooks training, so I have that one also, and it's excellent. You know, both of them cover a lot of the same stuff, just different ways. Both are fantastic. But Anna has been really, it's been priceless, because what she gave me, that the training course that Tom gave me, which was from, I'd have to look it up, skill something. Anyway, it's a website, good stuff. But it's just a how-to on QuickBooks. Anna will actually answer your questions, walk you through questions that you have, or walk you through problems that you have. And then, like I said, the CSV file being converted to a QuickBooks file was, you have no idea how much time that saved. So yeah, it's very inexpensive. Anna, if you want to put out the link, please feel free. I don't know it off the top of my head. I know it's something boot camp, but anyway, go to Anna's group, get in touch with her, PM her, and find, if you want to do QuickBooks, she's got that. She's going to start an accounting course in June. So that's going to be there to kind of walk you through the basics. Guys, it's really changed how I'm viewing my business. So a few things that came up after I did my books, just to let you know. And, you know, I always say revenue runs about 17 to 20, or excuse me, profit margins run about 17 to 22% of your gross sales. You know, so when you see people post their sales, I say, yeah, just use 20% as a general idea of their gross profits. Last year, our gross profits ended up at 18.1%. So a hair under 20, but that'll still put you in the neighborhood, and it's still in that range of 17 to 22%. So I was happy with that. And now that's gross profit. Then you get, you know, your pay, and oh my God, did I travel and bought stuff and all that kind of junk. So I spent a whole lot of money. I'll be honest with you, I spent a ton of money, but I had a fair amount to spend, so I was happy. And how about your CPA? Are you still using the same CPA or still using CPA? I'm going to have a CPA file my taxes for me. I will probably use the same one to file this year. I have a feeling I will be finding a new CPA for next year. It just, after talking with Anna and who is a CPA, she doesn't take clients and doesn't do the work anymore, but she is certified. Talking with someone who understands the business and seeing how she can answer my questions, where when I talk to my CPA who doesn't have a clue about this business, answers those same questions, it occurs to me, I like the guy, but that is not a reason to do business with him. I think I need somebody who actually understands the Amazon business and can make sure I'm not getting in trouble, getting myself into trouble, getting them in trouble, whatever. It's just, he just doesn't understand the business. And as much as I've tried to explain it, it doesn't click. So I will probably be finding a new one very soon. So Karen says, I found a CPA who really knows her stuff, and she has an accountant who does the QuickBooks. CPAs tend to hire people to do the data entry and save you money. Yeah, and Anna can be a good person to help talk to your CPA too. And maybe I could do that. Just get those two on the phone, pay Anna for her time to talk to him and straighten his butt out. I don't know. Anyway, Gary says, what about the end of your inventory? You get taxed on the product that does not sell. I don't know how the tax part works. I am definitely not a CPA. I do have my end of year inventory. I'll even give you those numbers as part of what I did. We had just under I'll use round numbers. We had $9,000 in inventory at the end of 2014. At the end of 2015, we were at about 29,000. So we added about $20,000 worth of inventory. Whether or not that gets taxed, I don't know. I have no idea how that is looked at as an asset. On the balance sheet, it's an asset. I did not write off. I did last year. I wrote off the cost. I will not do that this year. So I don't know. That's what CPAs are there for. Uh-oh, Harvey Specter's in the house. Look out now. It's going to get interesting. But I am tracking my inventory. So that I am doing monthly as well as the year end. And Harvey says, stupid accrual accounting. Yes, sir. That's exactly what we were talking about. So it's an accrual world. That's bad. That was from Anna. That's bad. But yeah, so I do like I said, I like the system better. It takes a little more effort, but I feel like I have a better grasp of what in the world is going on. So QuickBooks Online is awesome. Accrual accounting, I'm getting used to. Anna has been instrumental. And if you need help, I'm telling you, talk to her. If you need more help, take her course. The information's out there. If you want to spend time Googling it, you can. I've done that too. You guys have no idea. I have done nothing. Actually, this came up, because I've been talking about spending a lot. I have not spent a dime on inventory since May 12th. That was my last expenditure on inventory. So that's 13 days ago. I have not bought anything to send to Amazon in 13 days. Part of that is because I went to the conference and I was going to be out of town. The other part of that is because I need to get this stuff straight. I know I've got some big buys coming up. So I needed to get my book straight. I needed to get my numbers in line, which I'm almost there. And I needed to get cash. That's yeah. Harvey said, "Oh my God, Dwayne." Yeah. Harvey will, spend thousands a day without even thinking about it. And honestly, I was doing that. I just look back from April 20th until May 12th. On one card, I spent $56,000, and on the other card, $56,000. And on the other card, I spent about 15. It was actually charged as $17,000, but part of that was travel, part of that was, membership or like subscription dues. Like I pay $40 a month to do the Zoom, and part of that money or that charge, goes to that same credit card. So there was $17,000. About $15,000 of that was inventory. So I spent roughly right at $70,000 in 3 weeks. Michelle says, well, no wonder you need cards suddenly. Yeah, I'm telling you, the spending that I've been doing is insane. It really is. And again, that's part of why I needed to pull back and go, all right, first of all, let's get some cash in here because I know I got some big buys coming up. So, we're building up the cash reserves and I know where that money's going to go. And I just needed it to, I'm looking through inventory and I've got Barbie dolls from Christmas still in my inventory. Oh, crap. Why? So I shot them out the door today. It was like I paid, this is the downside of what we do, or at least how I buy. I make mistakes. So I bought the Barbie doll for $14 and expected to sell her for $33 is what I had my repricer at. And it's selling for $16.50 right now. I thought, okay, $16.50, cool. I'll take the loss. Just give me the money back. Get this stuff, because if you guys didn't see the email, Amazon is going to hammer us in the fourth quarter on storage fees. Amazon does not want your stuff in their fulfillment centers. They want to be a fulfillment center, not a storage center. I've said that before. They are not storage facilities. They are fulfillment centers. That's what they do. They process your orders. They get your stuff in, they take your order, they get your stuff out. At the busiest time of the year, they definitely do not want stuff that is sitting there. So the fees are going to triple. It goes from 72 cents per square foot, and it's going to go up to $2.15, per cubic foot. It's going to go from 72 cents per cubic foot to $2.15 per cubic foot for standard size items. Now, oversized goes up a little bit, but not nearly as drastically. So yeah, you're looking at 3 times more for the same inventory in November and December to still be sitting there. You have long-term storage fees that are coming up in August. So that's going to be your 6-month storage fees. And for some of us, I think I'm actually going to have some probably year-long storage fees if I don't sell it before August. Yeah, and Anna says, I think that will benefit us all in the long run. Yeah, clearing out inventory and getting that stuff gone, that puts money back in my pocket. It clears up space at Amazon. I see no reason to pay monthly fees. I looked and I'm paying $633 in monthly storage fees. Well, that's fine if that's stuff that I need stored. An example would be like summer items that I told you guys I was buying back in March. Remember, as soon as Easter was over, as soon as Easter was over, I said, I'm already buying summer stuff, right? So that I don't mind paying fees on because I'm buying ahead of the season and I know I'm going to have to pay a little bit of money. The stuff that I'm paying fees on that it has been sitting there since Christmas and it didn't sell then, when do you think it's going to sell? If it didn't sell at Christmas, I don't see it selling anytime soon, right? That's me. That's my inventory. So I'm getting rid of a lot of this stuff. I went from 308 SKUs. I'm down to about 253, I think, at last count. So, I've got rid of a lot of stuff. That's SKUs. Now, some of those were single item SKUs. Some of those were multi-item. But, I'm getting rid of stuff that's just sitting around. I don't see any reason to have it taking up space, getting charged for that, and really having no hope for several months of it selling again. So Amelia says, so any ideas with that? Wait, did you mistype that, or is that really what you meant to say? I just want to know before I read that out loud to people, because so any idea? I think she's saying with QuickBooks. Yeah, autocorrect. That's what I thought. Okay, so any ideas with? I think she's saying with QuickBooks from first horrible mistakes. Amelia, if you could please type that again so that I can actually read what I think you're asking a good question there. I just need to see it typed out correctly so I can understand it. But yeah, Brett says it's like an Amazon garage sale. Yeah, I'm selling a lot of stuff at cost. I'm selling things just above cost that after fees I'm going to lose money on. But again, what am I going to do? Just sit on the inventory? I told you I had 30 or $29,000 worth of inventory to start the year. Now, I don't mind that if it's going to sell soon, but that wasn't. That was a lot of that was leftover inventory from just what didn't sell at the end of last season. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And I just don't see a reason to carry that. Now, I spent $30,000. I saw this, spent $30,000 in January. And a lot of that was on inventory that was going to sell at Valentine's Day. So that's cool. I'm good with that. I'm okay with spending, $30,000 on inventory. Doesn't bother me a bit as long as it sells. So I wanted to keep the stuff moving. And so that's kind of where things are headed. I'm happy to have cash in the bank. I needed to build up those cash reserves. Again, I know where the buys are coming at. Good feels great, honestly, to have a handle on on my books and just the health of my business. That's the one thing that I've said this before, the whole profit first thing. I don't care if you buy into the system or you don't, you think it's wonderful, you think it's junk. Don't care. That is for each and every one of you to decide for yourselves. But the one thing it did was brought to light a healthy business. It said, make sure you have a healthy business. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm taking a step back. I'm going to make sure I have a healthy business. Brett says, if you take a 20% loss, but then average a 40% ROI, then it was a net gain in my mind. Yeah, and I agree. I mean, you're going to be able to turn that money over and over. And, that Barbie doll that I lost $3 or $4 on, well, now I've got $12 or $10 to reinvest and make 40% on over and over. So, yeah, I'm with you. Okay, Okay, Amelia says the first inventory, okay, that's what she was saying. The first inventory we sent, which is books, was a mistake. All right, that's what she was trying to spit out. I was a little I was a little confused, but yeah, books, I'm not saying books are good or bad. I've never really sold them, so I don't know much about them. Greg Murphy will tell you that they're great. For me, they just never quite fit my model. Fast turns and books don't really go together. So Karen says, along those same lines, are you changing your strategy in the future, buying less or ? What I'm doing is buying a lot deeper and very, very focused, very targeted items. I have done a lot of just kind of shotgun approach, buy this, buy that, whatever. See what works, see what doesn't. And now I want to be more focused. Now that I'm seeing these trends, and I've been selling for over 3 years now. It's actually coming up on 3.5 years. So I've seen these trends year over year over year, and I'm getting better at my buys, and I'm getting away from speculation. And I've talked about it. I've told you guys not to speculate. I shouldn't be speculating, yet I go out there and I speculate. Now, there is a little bit that needs to be done in terms of, when you're buying 2 months out on a product, yeah, you got to kind of have a general idea that it's going to sell when it gets there. But that to me is not the same as, I'm going to go buy Peppa Pig in October off the shelf at Walmart for $15 and, she should sell for 30 at the peak of Christmas. I mean, that's the kind of speculation I was doing in Q4 that just bit me in the butt. I mean, it was awful. Dale Selmeyer is here, and he says he loves him some Peppa Pig. Good. I have some Peppa Pig inventory I will send your way. I may not even sell it to you. I may just go ahead and return it to you. I put in a return order, and I'll have it going your way because Peppa is not my friend. I do not like her at all. Yeah, and Karen, yeah, all right. Amelia says, your strategy is awesome, Dwayne. Well, thank you, Amelia. It has not always worked great, but I'm fine-tuning it, and it has definitely served me well in general over the last 3 years. Dean asked, are you thinking of doing MF in the future? I do some MF. I at least try to do 10 items a month. That way I can qualify for premium shipping. Not that has played any part in anything other than at Christmas time, but at Christmas time, I was able to charge $50 shipping for 2-day shipping. So, it might cost me $20 or $30 to ship something FedEx 2-day, but I was charging $50. I mean, that was adding $20 to the bottom line just to do some MF. I will do, so I try to do at least 10 items a month because that's the minimum to qualify for premium shipping. So I'll try to do that much. If the season's right, I did some at Easter, just some stuff that I knew was not going to get to the fulfillment center before Easter. So I went ahead and MF'd it. I do it in spots. I am not a big MF person, but I will definitely do it when I see the opportunity. I don't really have anything against it. I don't hate it as much as I used to. I filled 3 orders the other day. It happens. But I think there's some opportunity in MF. It just kind of depends on what you're selling and what it weighs and all that kind of stuff. So, all right. Marianne says we store and also have started a lot of, oh, okay. Yeah, there are preps that are, okay. Karen said some prep companies are doing storage and will now send in as needed. There you go. So Marianne says we store and also have started a lot of MF for our customers. That might even been, okay. No, that was not Dean's question, but there you go. So now if you get together with some Marianne, possibly with her prep center, you can have your stuff sent to her, maybe pay her less than what you're paying at Amazon. Maybe not. I don't know. Get with Marianne and ask her, and she'll even MF some of your stuff for you. So that's very interesting. That's actually quite cool. And Dale says he has 2 kids and they would be my bestest friends forever. Yeah, Peppa. I do not like Peppa. And Karen loves Marianne's service. I love your service, Marianne. One year I was making more on shipping than the product. I thought of creating SKUs just for shipping. There you go. And and Jay, was that Jay? Scanner Monkey is shooting out some bolos to us. And for those of you who, I know Karen is one of them, I still owe the Pay It Forward. I have 2 people that I need to hit up for the Pay It Forward as part of Scanner Monkey. So Karen, I will get with you right after this. Let's get that done this week. So, all right. Let's see. Yeah, Scanner Monkey. I got to believe that's Jay. Says, moral of the story, not everything Dwayne touches turns to gold. That's true. Definitely. Yeah, okay, it is Jay. No, I have turned plenty of stuff into Dookie. There is no doubt about it. He said he's Jay Blake, which for anyone that didn't catch it, Cordelia was Cordelia Bain at the Resonate conference. That was on her tag, said Cordelia Bain, which was pretty stinking funny. So apparently that is Jay Blake that we have in the chat room with us. So yeah, so let's talk about Resonate a little bit. It was awesome. Just flat out, I will say this. Chris and Scam Power put on terrific conferences, and this was the best conference I've been to. It was close. Scam Power puts on an awesome conference, but Resonate did something. They did a few things a little differently, and hopefully any of you who may be catching this on replay or know people that put on conferences, I'm going to give you some of what they did. Please consider doing some of this stuff, all right? Because one huge difference, well, I'll give you 2. Yeah, two huge differences in this conference between others. They did basically a they did a survey. Okay, you almost had, well, you did. You had to apply to go to the conference. And what they wanted was people, a room full of sellers, capped at 100 people, selling at least $50,000 a month. Not to be mean and not to leave anyone out, but they said this is going to be a next level conference. If you're not selling $50,000 a month, then it's not the right conference for you. And that changed the entire feel of the conference. You were really sitting amongst elite sellers, and that just gives you a different attitude going in. All right. So I knew probably 50 to 75% of the room when I went to the Scam Power conference, right? I was sitting there among friends. The whole room, there were definitely strangers in the crowd, but not many. When I showed up at Resonate, I probably knew 10% of that room. Anna Hill was there. Cordelia was there. The Young Guns, minus a couple. Harvey and Todd didn't make it, but the rest of them were there. Okay. Let's see, Cynthia Stein, who I've met before. And by the way, if you ever have the opportunity to go to a conference and play Cards Against Humanity afterwards with Cynthia Stein, you'll be in tears. Oh my God, she is hilarious. I had never seen that side of her before, but oh my God, Cynthia was stinking hilarious. And Eddie Levine was there, and he's the one that brought the cards, and it was just fantastic. Yeah, Brian Freifelder, Brian Freifelder, Travis Ross. So, okay, I knew a handful of these people. Then there were people that I'd really never met, and some that I maybe crossed paths with at some point. Like one example, and this blew me away that I even remembered, Mike Brown, Death Wish Coffee. I was at the first CES with him, and that was 3 years ago. Death Wish was in its absolute infancy. Now, I didn't know who he was. He had no reason to know who I was. So when I saw him at the conference, I was like, I remember that dude, Death Wish Coffee. It just stood out in my mind. I remember him being at CES, and I think we talked for a minute in the hallways, but yeah, that was it. And so I introduced myself, and he said, "You were at CES, right?" I was like, wow, that's kind of cool that he even remembered that. Because let me tell you, that dude is impressive. And I had the absolute honor and privilege of sitting across from him and his partner. Well, I don't know that they're partners. Eric, who runs the FBA. I don't think he's actually, this is why I'm saying this, I don't think he's an official partner of Death Wish, but he is like Mike's right-hand man and runs the FBA side of the business and all that. So I'm sitting right across the table from those two for 2 hours during dinner. Kelly Loach was there. That's another person that I was excited to see. So I was sitting next to him, sitting across from these guys, and for 2 hours just got to pick their brains and talk shop and find out the history of how they got started. And it was fascinating to hear the successes, all the failures. Oh my God, they had failures. Those guys are resilient. They're brilliant. The things that they did and the way that they capitalized on opportunities, it was just amazing. So it was something, yeah, they had Death Wish had the Super Bowl commercial. He talked about that a little bit, and he was on a panel with, Andy Slamans. See, I'm telling you, there were a handful of people I didn't know. Andy Slamans was there. He was on a panel. Brandon Jacobs, I believe is his name, from the Meat Claws company. So I think it's called Bear Claws. Anyway, this was next level stuff, guys. These were not people that were going to Walmart afterwards to scan products. These are guys that were having their stuff put on the shelves at Walmart. All right, and I'm not being facetious. Death Wish had just recently gotten into retail store that day. Another company that made like this all natural energy drink had just gotten into Whole Foods that day. So, I mean, when I say they were putting their product, they're putting the products up that maybe we end up scanning. Yeah. And that's seriously just a different conversation. That is a different feel. So, okay. So there's the first thing, right? We got a different level of people and Anna said, I met a seller who sells live aquarium livestock on Amazon, selling fish. And I met a seller who creates his own games to sell on Amazon. And they are also at Barnes & Noble. I also met a seller with 6 million in sales. Yeah, I met one guy, and I don't have permission to say who, but I met one guy who essentially works by himself, and he's selling $7 million by himself because he's figured out a system where he can essentially just be a transporter between Amazon and other businesses. And I mean, it's beyond just wholesale. I mean, he's doing truly next level stuff. So, I mean, okay, yeah, Anna said that was him. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I said 6, but yeah, it was 7. All right, Anna undercut him by $1 million. Yeah, he's doing $7 million a year essentially by himself because he has carved out this new way of doing things. And, you know, it's just mind blowing when you start to have these conversations. And no, you know, Jay joked, was the whole thing held in the hallway, which, you know, people know when I go to conferences, I'm usually out in the hallway. No, I was in that conference 99% of the time. I was sitting there. It was awesome. It was just fascinating. It was not speaker after, here's the other thing. It was not speaker after speaker after speaker, right? Too many times, all the time. That's what conferences are. It's what I complain about. It's why I go stand in the hallway. It's not any knock against anyone speaking. I get tired of sitting there and listening. So what was different about this? Well, when we went in, they started with an activity called Escape the Space. So, you know, you sit down, they grouped us into teams, and you get these clues, and you work through these clues to solve the puzzles. And once you solve all the puzzles, you get an hour to deactivate a bomb, is kind of the scenario. So it was just this game. And at first I was like, this is just corny, you know, but then competitive side starts to come out. Mindy, who was there, Mindy Lipschitz, he was on our team, and Cordelia was, and the guy, Nick, that flew in from England, and Talal, who is the guy putting his product into Whole Foods. I mean, you know, these guys, we're just goofing around, right? At first you're just, but you get to know them, and you're working together. And Mindy definitely took charge, and Cordelia was not happy about it. I will tell you right now, Cordelia said, no, you're not taking charge. I sat back and went, whatever, I don't care. It was actually kind of interesting to watch the two of them kind of butt heads to see who was going to be the alpha in that little thing. The rest of us were just like, dude, go for it. I don't care. But yeah, so yeah, Mindy and Cordelia, they were all over it. They were competitive from the start. It took me about a half an hour to really get into it. But it was fun. So, okay, so you go in the first day, and bam, there you are. Now, and all the free Death Wish coffee you could drink, that helped, because I'm not real big on strong coffee usually, but I'm telling you, that stuff's good. I'm buying it now. I'm paying $1.60 a freaking K-Cup for it because I'm kind of addicted to it. That stuff is awesome. So, you know, you got awesome coffee. You got this game to start the whole thing. You're kind of getting to know people where otherwise you would just kind of sit and hold to yourself, and they forced you to get to know one another. So that was neat. And then they did have a couple of speakers like you would normally have. Then they did something really cool. They did this breakout session where they broke us out into groups, six groups, right? The entire room. So like 13 people in a group, or whatever the math comes out to. I don't know, 15 people in a group. Then they had the speakers rotate. They had 6 speakers that spent about 20 minutes with each one of us. So this was a 2-hour deal. So Cynthia Stein was one of them on her suspension prevention, and Robin Johnson. There's another person that I know that was there. See, more to talk about it. Yeah, Jennifer Dunn. Thank you, Anna, from TaxJar was there. And who there were 3 others. Oh, Xander, right? He was like a marketing dude. He was awesome. Jeff, the IP attorney, who was awesome. You wanted to ask, and this was a lot of PL people and product owners and trademark owners. So it was really cool to hear the questions and to ask some questions of Jeff. And I asked him about cease and desist and how much weight they carry and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, he said if they, they come from this source, don't worry about it. They come from that source, kind of pay some attention. They come from this source. You better do something about it because your life just got really ugly. So, you know, for 20 minutes, you got to pick an attorney's brain that actually understands what we do. And I forget, I'm missing one other person, and I feel horrible about it. If anybody can remember who the other one was. But, it was President Nathan, or Seller Labs themselves. That's who it was, who were just kind of trying to get ideas for what other products would help us as sellers. So for 2 hours, you're not listening to people give a speech. For 2 hours, you're talking to different people about different aspects of this business, and you're talking to people who understand what you're talking about. That's huge. In our world, that is huge. And you don't get that at a $99 beginner seller conference. You just don't. It's not going to happen. I sat back at one point and I went, these people are talking, and I forget what her name is. The lady that actually used to work at Amazon was in charge of ordering products from China for Amazon. She was talking so far over my head. I freaking loved it. I just went, I have no clue what you're talking about. And I was fascinated. And the more I listened, the more I was just like engrossed in what she was saying, even though it didn't apply to anything I was doing. Just to be in a room with somebody talking about something that was that ahead of anything else we see. So, and then the keynote speaker was Brad Cohen, who is Jeff Cohen from Seller Labs. It's his brother, and he is not a seller, and he has nothing to do with anything in this world. But what he is a great speaker. And what made him really stand out is the fact he has Tourette's. I've heard of Tourette's. We all kind of know what it is, but I'd never met anyone with it. And he is now a vice principal at a school. And he kind of gave his story. And when I say his story, Hallmark made a movie about him, right? There have been books written about him. So he has a foundation set up to help other Tourette's, other people that have Tourette's. So I'm going to donate to his foundation after listening to him, because I was inspired. I was like, man, if this guy that had that much difficulty as a child turned out to be a vice principal at a school, which was his dream. I mean, that's what he was meant to do. But to hear his struggles and how he went through it, I'm looking at myself going, man, I got nothing to complain about. Just absolutely nothing. So it was, so that was a keynote speaker that was not a typical Amazon FBA conference attendee. This guy was talking about a lifestyle and problems that just make you go, man, I'm fortunate. So a lot of things came into this. Oh yeah, it was Rachel Greer. Thank you. She had 7 years of experience where she managed audits, product testing, packaging, and inspections. She's now consulting companies and simplifying complex global regulations. And so yeah, that was Rachel Greer was one of the other experts in the room, and the one that was talking way over my head. But yeah, so I got to meet Brad afterwards at dinner. And when I say it was an honor to shake his hand, it was an honor. I mean, I was like, wow, this guy is amazing. And just to have a few minutes of talking to him and just to let him know how much I appreciated his story, it meant a lot to me. And, and that same night, that 30 minutes later, I'm sitting across from Mike and Eric. And so guys, if you know anyone, and Travis Ross put on the Rocky Mountain Reseller Conference, and I heard it was great. So he saw it firsthand. He was like, I'm going to implement some of this stuff. Hopefully, if you guys can get in the ears of some of these people putting on conferences, let them know there are other ways to do things and keep it interesting for your audience versus just speaker after speaker after speaker. So just for what it's worth. And if you have the opportunity to go to a next level conference, please do it. Oh my goodness. By all means, do yourself a favor and go to that conference. All right. Let's see. I think that's about all I had to talk about, honestly. If you guys have any questions, fire away. About the conference, about numbers, about QuickBooks. I mean, I'll tell you whatever I can share with you. More than happy to. But that's basically what's been going on with me, with us for the last 2 weeks. And that's why you haven't seen or heard much from me. I've just, and that was another, and that kind of played into, after listening to these guys, that kind of played into I really need to get my stuff together, because seeing what they were able to do, when one guy told me that he made $60,000 a month, he didn't mean he sold $60,000 a month. All right. He made $60,000 a month. That's pretty freaking cool. That's, and when he's like, yeah, this is what I do and this is how I do it. Holy cow. All right. So Brett said, how is sourcing going to change moving forward after the buying freeze? Well, honestly, it's coming into my bread and butter time of year, which is part of the reason I don't mind backing off. And I did the buying freeze. There are a lot of reasons for it, but one of them is we're coming into back to school season, right? that to me is the kickoff of Q4 essentially. I mean, I'm so stinking excited. So I'm not really going to source all that much differently. I just know what to go buy. I know what my plan is for back to school, which will start probably in about 2 weeks. Just some things gotta kind of come together. I'm gonna go on vacation a little bit, but once I come back from that, I know what I'm doing. I know what the plan looks like. I know the companies that I need to work with. I know the stores I need to go hit. It's going to be a mix of RA, wholesale, OA, doing it all. So back to school, excuse me, will take up a lot of that money that I've been saving up. Excuse me, I'm sorry, guys. So that's going to take up a lot of those resources, a lot of that time. I'm not going to be doing much research type sourcing. It's going to be buying what I know sells, maybe making some different products. Oh, this came up. Let me throw this out before I forget. And yeah, I will answer those questions. Of course, I do bundles and that kind of stuff. It was interesting at that conference too. Somebody asked about the UPC codes. I don't know if you've heard about the UPC codes. You probably have. People have asked me my opinion, and we were talking about this at the conference. First of all, I don't know. Okay. The reason I haven't talked about it is because I don't know what Amazon really is going to require going forward. If you want to be completely safe, get a brand, register your brand with Amazon, go buy GS1 UPC codes. That is safe. All right. Whether or not you can use generic UPC codes the way we have in the past and get away with it, that's where some people are speculating. Yes, you can. Others are saying, no, you can't. That's what I'm telling you. Nobody knows, because I swear if you talk to 3 people at Amazon, you'll get 4 different answers. So while I value the opinion of those people and I hold them in high regard, I will have to tell you, I don't think that they have opinions, but they're just that. They are opinions. So the UPC thing comes up. What UPC codes are going to be used. And somebody sitting behind us said, what about UPCs? And so I briefly explained it. I said, it came up in some of the Facebook groups. They said, what do you mean Facebook groups? I said, for the Amazon sellers. And they just looked at me kind of puzzled. I said, there's Facebook groups where Amazon sellers kind of share information. And this came up in the Scam Power group, which I'm thinking you had to have heard of Scam Power, right? 15,000 people in the group, well-known product. And I said, it came up in the Scam Power group, and they, again, just kind of looked at me. I said, you don't know what Scam Power is? No. I said, that you use the mobile app to go scan products in the store. They looked at me like I had 2 heads. And I, it was hilarious to see the reaction of most of the people when I told them that I did RA, wholesale, OA. They were like, really? You do RA? And some people were like, what's RA? Yeah, Karen, you nailed it. They may not know what a scanner is. They don't. They had no idea. They had no clue what Scam Power was, what a mobile app was for, what RA was, why you would be in the store scanning that stuff. It was awesome. I was blown away. I was taken aback a little bit, but it was awesome to sit there and look at that guy look at me like I was nuts, or the 2 guys. What planet were they from? The one that makes money on a whole different level than we do. Honestly, they I forget exactly what their deal was, but they flew in like last minute. They got notice of the conference. Jeff asked them to fly in. They flew in just for the conference. Planet Cash. There you go. Yeah, they were just they made products. That's what they did. Okay, they weren't scanning other people's products. They were bringing products to market. Anna says, I think 2 out of 3 people I talked to at the conference had no idea there are Facebook groups for Amazon sellers. Yeah, me too. Is everyone that I mentioned and I started laughing at myself when people would say, so what do you sell? I say, yeah, I'm just I'm an RA, OA wholesale guy. They're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I know. It's silly. It's silly that I'm sitting here, but it's funny. And I'm okay with it. It's just, it was cool. I liked being a tiny, tiny, tiny fish in that world. Yeah, Michael Flanagan, there are a lot of sellers on Amazon that think our big sellers yearly volume is a nice weekly sales number. Yeah, there are. They gave out. They had some execs from Amazon. They gave out some sales figures and what Amazon considers to be big sellers. Dude, we aren't big sellers. I don't. I mean, I respect a lot of people in this community, and no one qualifies as a big seller in Amazon's world. We don't register, guys. It's just the way it is. All right. I saw a couple questions. Yeah, Harvey said vacation is for sourcing foreign lands. Yeah, I'll be down at Disney. I won't be sourcing. I know me. I just don't do it. Amelia, yes, Prime Day is July 15th. You are absolutely correct. Prime Day last year was awesome. You can expect to do about 3 times your normal sales volume on Prime Day. Yes, that is July 15th. Oh, I want to throw this out also. Multiples. I got an email. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Yes, your multiples were supposed to be pulled by April 30th. If they are still sitting in the warehouse, you have until May 27th to put in your return request so you can pull that inventory back. If it is still sitting there, if your multiples are sitting in the warehouse on May 27th, they will be destroyed and you will get to pay to not get your stuff back, and they will do what they see fit with it. So just keep that in mind. Yes, or given to the break room to eat or whatever. So if you still have multiples, which I am guilty of, get that stuff pulled back quickly. You only have a couple of days left. All right. You might sell your Barbies and Peppa Pigs on Prime Day. Could be, Karen, but I won't because they're gone. I got, well, the Peppa, I still got some Peppa stuff, but yeah, the Barbies, hopefully they're all jettisoned. What is a multiple? Oh, meltable. All right. Yeah, sorry, meltable. It's a Southern thing. I don't speak very well. I've somewhere between the New England accent and the Southern accent and the little Canadian stuff throughout my life. Yeah, I just don't speak well. Yeah, it's Georgia. But yes, meltables. Things that melt. How about that? That's a better word. So yeah, get your meltables. Get your things that melt out of the warehouse. That's the point of all this. Thank you for pointing that out, Gary, that I cannot speak clearly and enunciate. All right. Yeah, man, Gary, I did some back to school shopping with him last year. Now he knows my secrets. I just thought about that. So much for Jacksonville. Michael Flanagan said REA had 30 boxes of Godiva chocolate sent to our warehouse, told Sandy to enjoy, and she is, along with all of the other staff. There you go. That's actually not a half bad idea. Take care of your prep center people. If you got a prep center, yeah, send them some chocolates. Why not? How much chocolate are you going to eat? Brandon Gomper sent this to me forever ago, and yes, it's still sitting here. I just keep it as a cool little memento, and someday it'll probably just like disintegrate, but for now it's still there. And yeah, send that stuff back to people. Dude, it's too big to eat, and Snickers is my favorite. Yeah, still got the Flash and Scanner Monkey and all that good stuff. Oh yeah, Becky Cornwell was the first one to ever send me anything, which thank goodness. I just thought about that. Threads and Treads, guys, it's coming up. Just wanted to throw that out there because we will be closing it on Tuesday before I see you guys again. So Threads and Treads will be open on June 1st. So if you go to facebook.com/group/Threads and Treads, you can apply to or request to join. You get a PM on the 1st, and everyone that pays gets in. Just to give you some idea, Becky has really stepped up the flips. She was putting out a few a day. They are up to about 10 a day going out. So if you want flips, you get about 10 flips a day. 33 tips were given. And of course, all the training videos and material is still there. So little pitch for Threads and Treads. All right. Oh, Mike, I'm glad you brought that up. What do the TNT team think of the mess Amazon has made of the shoe category? Yeah, if you guys haven't noticed, especially with Nike, that's where I really noticed it. But a lot of the shoes out there have gone from multicolor, multi-size variation. So the parent-child variation with lots of colors, lots of sizes all under one parent. And the rank might be like 27 in shoes, but you have no idea what's really selling. It looks like Amazon is tearing apart the catalog. And what I've seen is they are using one color variation of a shoe type and then the sizes. All right, so you still have a parent-child listing, but it's one shoe with multiple sizes, and that has its own rank. And that's becoming more and more common. I don't know if that's by design or not. See, now, Harvey says Amazon is dumb. Personally, I like it because it makes it easier for me to scan shoes. You know, when a shoe is, when that pink guy's shoe that most guys aren't wearing pink, you know, when that shoe is mixed in with everything else, I don't know if that's one selling or not. But now I see that it's ranked 400,000 and it's the black shoe that's actually selling. I go, oh, okay, I want the black one, not the pink one. So, but we'll see. And then Craig Burrows said he found Craig Burrows. Yeah, see, oh, we're going to start a firestorm right at the end of the show. Awesome. Thanks, Mike. As a buyer, I hit it. Okay, so here's the flip side. So as a seller, it makes it easier to know which variations are actually selling. As a buyer, it makes it more difficult, and that's what Harvey's referring to, I believe. It makes it more difficult to find the different variations. You may not know that the pink variation even exists because all you've seen is the most popular one, which is going to rank higher in the search and in the catalog. So you may not tear down to the lower colors. So yeah, those that are popular are going to be super popular. Those that are less searched, less found, less bought will fall further and further behind and just get worse and worse. So, but yeah, Craig Burrow, I found a polo shirt type today with 175 colors. That is insane. Michael Flanagan, we now see a shoe with a style description but no size. So people are sending questions to the sellers asking what size the shoe is. That's true. And I've gotten that myself, where the only way I knew what size I was selling is because it was in my MSKU. Had I not put it in my MSKU, I would have had no clue what size it was. And somebody sent it and they were like, is this a size 18? I'm like, no, I promise it's not a size 18. But yeah, good comment, Mike. I appreciate that. I'd forgotten. And Harvey said he is putting the shoe size in the condition notes. That's a good idea. You know, not condition notes won't show up if it's just the in the buy box, but if people actually click, and a lot of times it'll say, you know, available from these sellers, and it'll be there. So that's an excellent idea. It will be good when it's done, but until then, it's a nightmare. That's from Michael. All right, so Harvey says, I disagree. If I want Nike Freeze, I want to look at all 90 colors on one page, not 90 pages with their own color. Fair enough. That's and Anna agrees. And Harvey said, you're stealing my theories. That is true. I stole that straight from Harvey. I voiced what he has already said. Yeah, that was totally his stuff. I 100% admit it. I stole that from Harvey because he's smart, and I'm not really that smart. I'm just smart enough to hang out with people that are. So like Harvey and Michael. Yeah, shoe size is kind of important. Yes, it is very important. Yeah, it's going to be a mess. I like it from a seller perspective. I do understand the problem from a buyer perspective. And who knows, like I was actually looking at that before the show started to see, was it across all lines or was it just a select few? And some of them still have 15 colors and 10 sizes for each one. Not all of them do, but you know, that's just the way it is. Some are getting broken out. Some are still the same old way. Michael Flanagan says, I want to be in a room someday with Harvey, so I know that I am not the smartest guy in the room. Oh, Mike, you don't have to worry about that. Just kidding. Bob Willie's here. What's up, Bob? Yeah, you are late to the party. We're about to shut it down and kick everyone out. I'm just kidding. Mike is a very smart guy, and he knows that, and a good friend. That's why I can say that kind of stuff to him. But Harvey's brilliant too. I am fortunate to know a lot of smart people, seriously. And so, yeah, I steal stuff from people because, man, I listen to smart people and I get ideas from them. But yeah, Mike, you and Harvey should meet. I think you guys would actually get along pretty well. You're both cool guys. All right. That wraps it up. I got nothing else for you, and it is past the hour, and I don't want to go too long. So thank you guys all for being here. We ended up with over 30 people live on a Wednesday night. Much appreciated. We will be back next week. So I'll see you next Wednesday. Hopefully I'll have a little bit more of this number stuff. If anybody has any questions, there's some stuff I will, some things I won't answer, but anything is fair game to ask, and I will do my best to answer it. And the more I get a grip on this, the more excited I am to talk about it. And really go check out. It's all because of Anna. Seriously. So go check out Anna. I wish you would have given the links. Now I got to go look it up because I know it's out there. Geez. So real quick, if you want to know more about QuickBooks and you want to know more about Anna's group, let's see. Here it is. Jeez. See, she made me go through all this stuff. Now I got to scroll back through. And try to find it while I'm on the air. And it's just not cool. There we go. AnnaHillBootcamp.com. All right. So that is that's the boot camp that she's going to do with the accounting. And then she has the QuickBooks specific course. So you can check that out too. Anyway, hit Anna up if you want help. She is awesome, and she has helped me tremendously. And so I'll be talking about numbers and bookkeeping and accounting and that kind of stuff probably for the next few weeks as I get a grip on this and try to share what I've learned with you guys and hopefully get you in the same mindsets. Something on a personal note that I'll share real quick, and then we'll end it. We got a $2,000 hospital bill that we did not expect. We had no idea what it would be. So we opened up the hospital bill, and it was a little over $2,000. It was just like crap, because we've got a roof that we have to replace this week. The guys are going to be here tomorrow, and that's an $8,000 job to replace the roof. And I'm like, man, we're just getting hit from all sides. This is harsh. Well, because in the past I was much more organized and had different things set up. One thing that we did years ago was set up an HSA, and there was some money in there. Turned out to be more than enough to cover this $2,000 bill. So, for a moment we were just like, man, we're getting hit from all sides, and that's a lot of money to try to come up with. And what in the world are we going to do? And then I thought about the HSA, and I said, how much money do we have in there? We went and looked. Part of being organized and part of preparing. Oh yeah, sorry. Health savings account. Thank you, Mike. For anyone that doesn't know what an HSA is, thank you. I should have said that. It's a health savings account. So I said, okay, here's a hospital bill. And we had the money in the bank. And as soon as that happened, Angie looked at me and she goes, well, why aren't we putting more money in there? Well, we're not under the same plan anymore. But I said, we could actually just set money aside for rainy day stuff beyond. We have our emergency fund set up, but we don't have, say, a health fund set up. Well, why shouldn't we have enough to at least cover our deductible just sitting in an account ready to go at any time? It kind of makes sense. So all this stuff's kind of coming together to where I need to get a grip on the numbers. I need to know this stuff, and I need to start planning better. And so you're going to hear me talk about it because it just makes sense. And when I saw the light bulb go off in her head, I went, yeah, we need to get back to that. We need to get back to the financial planning, the college planning, the healthcare, just all the stuff that I used to be great about doing. And I have totally thrown into the breeze since I've started running this business. It's time to get back to that. And now that the company, the business is making money again, I've talked about it before, but it's really just, I've realized I've got to crunch. I have got to get it all together, and I've let it go for way too long. So Michelle says, your business is growing up. Exactly. It's time for my business to start taking care of me and my family. For the last 3 years, we have been putting into the business. Time for the business to start giving back. And, but I have to do my part in that, and that I have not done. I told you right here just an hour ago, 8 months behind in statements, 8 months behind in bookkeeping. Yeah, I had a general idea. Yeah, I kind of ran some numbers here and there along the way, but that's absurd. That is, there is no excuse for that. No way. And I thought I was 6 months behind. Not until I opened stuff up did I realize it was 8. So it was even worse than I thought. But all right, guys, thank you for Dwayne confession. Yeah, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for listening to my ramblings, and hopefully it sparks you guys a little bit. Something that I said tonight gives you some ideas or motivation or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here, but shoot, you guys keep showing up, so I will too. So I'll talk to you next week. Until then, guys, have a great night, make some money, and know if you're making money, get your handle on your numbers. All right, see you guys next week.